Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of it. And we're going to have to be pretty careful about a section of it while we're going through it, because we definitely do not want to get somebody angry at us. Hey, Andy, welcome. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm actually planning not to touch her at all. But if it comes to that, we certainly will. Hey, David. Thanks for being here. Oh, jeez. We just keep getting hammered. Week after week. We got it again this week. We got it on Tuesday. Came through with 60, 65 mile an hour winds again. Another 200,000 people without power. I mean, it's just been one after another. We get partially or sometimes fully recovered from one, and then the next one just comes out of nowhere and hits us. It's going to be that type of summer and into the autumn for us here. It's just going to be one after another, I think. So just haven't been able to climb out of it. It's nice today. It's hazy because of agricultural fires burning down in in Mexico, the winds carry the haze up here, so it's hazy today, but should be a decent day. It was really nice yesterday after the rains quit. It was like lower 80s degree Fahrenheit, which is what, 28-ish Celsius yesterday, so it was nice. Well, nice for our standards. That's blazing hot per UK standards. No, it certainly isn't, David. That's it's certainly been a blessing as far as the temperatures go, but yeah, the way that what we had to go through to get the temperatures there is is something else, and it's short-lived. So we're going to be back up in the, I think today we're still going to be mid 80s, but then next week we'll be back up into the 90s again. Oh, thanks, David. I appreciate it. Made a couple of tactical mistakes. And then that stupid motivator cutscene, which I always forget about. The first time you run into one of those things caused that restart, but for the most part it worked out pretty well. Yeah, we've had a lot of stuff. Texas has had its fair share, and not just down here in the south part of Texas, but the north and the panhandle got hit this week with bigger storms than we saw on Tuesday. So what we got a couple of weeks ago with tens of millions of dollars of damage, they got, this week. Yeah, there's just one of the things I like about living down here is that I can see my natural disasters coming. It's nice flat ground everywhere. It's not like living on the West Coast where you never know when an earthquake's going to pop up or something like that. At least here I can see it coming and prep for it. But that also means that there is just nothing to stop the weather. I know the song is from Oklahoma and all, but when the winds come sweeping down the plains is a real thing here. When the winds pick up, they get pretty bad sometimes. But I will also say that this is rare. We don't see it like this. This is obviously, climate change induced. Not having a discussion about what's causing climate change, but this is definitely because the climate has changed down here. When I moved down here, our summers were not like this, and our winters were not nearly this mild either. So it's certainly changed over the past 25 years. There's absolutely no disputing that. And this is one more thing that we're going to have to deal with down here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 10 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Dror, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, not anything on admin notes other than thank you for being here for the stream early. I have an appointment today down with the city to pick up a new rain barrel for my house, and I have to be there at a certain time, and that conflicts with the ending of the live stream. So thank you all for being here, and then I'll be leaving immediately after the stream, so I might not get the chapter markers up until a little bit later today, but I'll certainly get on it as quickly as I can for those of you who want to go back and see anything you missed in the VOD. So I think that's it on our recap. At the end of last week's episode, we had taken care of Priestess Gut in the Goblin camp. We had finished up all of the side activities we wanted to do here. We had bought all of the items that we hadn't bought all of the items we wanted to buy. And we were getting ready to deal with the Goblin leaders and rescue Halsin. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And we'll get caught up on what I did off stream. Okay, so here we are. We are inside of Minthara's area here. You can see she's over here with Rozak. So what did I do off stream? So the first thing I did is I went back and I looted everything out of the toll house. I looted everything. I sold everything, and I was able to pick up the rest of the items that I wanted from Roa Moonglow. Okay, so anything that I wanted from her, I now have in my inventory, and it's ready to go. The other thing I did was I prepped the battlefield, and the reason I did this off stream rather than show it to you is because it's fairly straightforward, and you have to sometimes wait a long time. So what I did, Zurga is sitting in here. Zurga normally patrols out here, and then he will walk up here, he will walk in here, he will give a report to Minthara, then he will turn around and he will walk back out. So he kind of periodically comes in here and does that path. So you have to watch for his detection cone. Then you have a goblin, Grut, who sits right in this area, and you have a scrying eye that's also in here. Now, managing all three of those entities and their pathing and their detection cones while trying to get rid of some of them, it just means you have to wait for them to be in correct positions. And sometimes it can take 5-10 minutes. And I didn't want to subject you all to me sitting here just waiting for somebody to move. So, how does this work? Well, the first thing is you wait for Zurga to get out of the way. You wait for him to be down here somewhere when you do this. Okay? Then Scrut and the Scrying Eye are going to be a bunch of times stuck in conversation here. But eventually, you will get Scrut standing here, and the Scrying Eye will move around the back of this bookcase and start coming back here to talk to Scrut again, or to cross the bridge and go over here. When Scrut is standing here and the Scrying Eye is back here, you hold down left shift and you wait for the detection cone for the Scrying Eye to uncover Scrut. there will be a small amount of time where the scrying eye will be back here and its detection cone does not overlap Scrut. Okay? You definitely want to do Scrut first. You do not want to do the scrying eye first. You want to do Scrut first. And that's because you want to do all of these outside of detection cones, with the exception of the scrying eye, which you don't have a choice on. So then, Karlach is the easiest to do this with. She has a DC of 0 for throwing actions. So that means she can only fail it with a nat 1. So what you do is you put Karlach here, and you wait until the detection cone goes out of the way. You go into turn-based mode, and then you can maneuver Karlach. She doesn't have to be in hiding. You can maneuver her so she's outside of the detection cone as well, and that normally puts her like right back here. And then you right-click on Scrut, and you have her throw him into the pit. And you'll know when it's correct because you'll get an arc, and it will say death at the end of it. When you throw him, sometimes you'll get a cutscene where Scrut will say your violence has triggered an attack. And you just say attack, and as soon as you do, he dies because he's in the chasm, and nothing happens. It gives you the XP for his death, and you're done. Then you do the scrying eye. Now this is less important. You just make sure that Zerga's not in here. Normally I wait until the scrying eye gets, somewhere around here or somewhere around here so that they're farther away from Minthara and Rozak. And then you just pick it up and throw it. It doesn't matter if you're in its detection cone or not, because it's a 360-degree detection cone. As long as it dies, nothing will go wrong. If you roll a nat 1, it'll go wrong. And the call for reinforcements, the camp, goes hostile and things get bad. So it's a tricky thing in honor mode to do, but you've basically got a low % chance of it failing. And then you throw the scrying eye into the pit as well. Now normally Zerga is not here. He's still patrolling. For some reason, and I don't know why, Zerga is stuck here. I can't get him to move. That doesn't really matter as much. It's just one more enemy that we're going to have to deal with here. But he is standing on the bridge here, so we might be able to get rid of him fairly easily while we're doing this. The last two things I did was I turned off the torches, and I went into hiding back here, and I put a sneak attack on the war drum here, and I put a sneak attack on the war drum here. That just keeps either Rozak or Zerga from trying to go to either of those locations and trigger the war drum. You do not want any war drums to go off during this. Okay. So now we're ready to get this started. Everybody else is out here hiding. I talked to Zerga standing up here, so Zerga is now facing away. So that's the best that I can do with his detection cone, is make sure that it's facing away. And you'll see that when Minthara turns to talk to Rozak, her detection cone opens up a spot, behind him, and you can see you can actually walk out here around this pillar, and you can walk through here. So we'll see what happens after this barrel explodes and things kick off with the detection cones, but I want people facing this way to start. Okay. Now, as far as Astarion goes, we have the Titan string bow here. So we're going to have Astarion drink an elixir of Hill Giant Strength. Okay.
And now you dare.
I have toggled non-lethal attacks right now. Remember, that does not apply to melee or to ranged attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and not be in hiding. You do not want to be in hiding when this happens. You want combat to trigger. You do not want to blow up this barrel, pass a stealth check, and then have Minthara heal herself. You want combat to start. So what I'm going to do is cast a firebolt cantrip on the smoke powder barrel, and then I am immediately going to attack Rozak. Just in case combat does not trigger from the barrel explosion, because it is a third-party damage. It's not being done by one of my characters. Sometimes it won't trigger combat. So I want to immediately get into combat and not let Minthara heal herself. Because if she does, things are going to get quickly out of hand. She has greater lay on hands, and she can heal half of her hit points in a turn. And that just gets really, really bad. So let's go ahead and kick this off, and we'll see how it goes here. So I'm going to first make sure I've got my bow attached so that I have I'm holding control. And that lets me, pick a target to start my attacks. And I'll actually probably target Zerga since he won't be moving during this. And I'm going to start with a firebolt on the smoke powder barrel here.
What are we waiting for? Spears are sharp.
Okay, so that immediately put us into combat. It killed Rozak, and Minthara has half of her hit points gone. And she's facing away. So now if I look at the detection cones, I have a free path to get behind her.
Hey, good looking.
And I am more than willing to take fire damage to get close to her. Okay, now here this detection cone's a little weird. But see, you can walk around the outside of it. Okay. So I'm going to get Karlach in here.
Does this count as adventuring?
Because everybody's going to get in on this fun when it comes to...
Don't burn yourself. Shadow lag.
When it comes to Minthara. Okay. So now here, I'm going to be inside of fire here, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to knock me out of hiding when I walk through it. No, 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 Gale. Thank you. Okay, and now Gale has the Rain Dancer here. Gale isn't going to be able to do much against Minthara because, again, I need to be doing this with non-lethal attacks. So I'm going to have him get into combat by putting out all of this fire. Okay. And now I have multiple ways to get in here and attack Minthara. Now, I don't have anything that's going to electrify this. Do I? No. Okay. So I'm going to get my Bard up here. And Karlach right here. Now, Karlach is hard to hit. Or, I mean, Minthara is hard to hit. So, a normal attack against her right now, because I'm hiding, I have advantage, which is nice. But that's going to go away after I come out of hiding. So, I want to make sure that if she does survive this first round, which it's very likely that she will, that I have an easier way to hit her. Okay? Because if I don't survive this first round of combat, she's going to heal herself, and that's going to be a problem. So, for Astarion here, we're going to use a ranged attack. And
Do you think the dwarf is ready yet?
okay, oh boy, I forgot to buy them. Interesting. Okay, I forgot to buy it.
I speak, they burn.
Well, let's try this with Gale then. I want to try and I forgot to buy arrows of Ilmater or Astarion to keep her from healing. We're gonna have to try Bone Chill. I'm gonna have a really small chance for this to hit though. From Gale.
What are they delaying? Can't we just swarm the forest?
Okay, so she cannot heal now, which is good. So let's go ahead and now get an attack from Astarion, and I'm just going to do a regular ranged attack here. Nothing special.
I'll tell you, the scrying
I'm not going to add sneak attack damage to this.
Right. What would some drow wizard in Moonrise want to look at
Okay.
you for?
So sneak attack is being asked.
What do they need to be looking at any of us for, is what I'm saying? We're all on the same side.
Oh. Oh, I didn't need that. An 88%er missed. My advantage, I rolled a 4. Ah, okay. Well, this might go bad. Okay. Well, let's do this. My chances of hitting this are going to be low. So, I am my chance for a hit here is 80%. But I need to do more damage than that.
Drow wants to know exactly where those adventurers came from.
Okay, so we're gonna do a slashing flourish ranged. That allows me to target her twice. Okay, so that's better.
Well, well.
All right, now Karlach needs to hit this. Okay, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts here. Now, she's probably not going to be able to knock her out with that. I'm rolling really well on initiative, though. Let's go Flourish as well. Okay, so that missed. Can't get over there
Allow me to
anymore.
demonstrate.
Can't do anything else here. So yeah, it's entirely up to Karlach here. So
Do you think the dwarf is ready yet?
we'll start.
Duh, you're boring.
Because I already have advantage. So let's just see what happens here. She is knocked out. That is outstanding. So that went about as well as it could have, except Astarion missed, so I had to high roll there. And to do it. So as Lord Henry is saying here, you certainly can use potions of speed and that sort of stuff for this fight. Here's what would have happened if she survived that attack. She would have used greater lay on hands to heal half of her hit points, and that means that she would not be able to smite. And that lowers the amount of attack damage she's going to do. She's dual wielding maces, so you'll get hit with a couple of 7 or 8 attacks if she lands them both. But the important thing is that she will use greater lay on hands and she won't be able to one-shot you with a smite. And that means your next turn, you just have to, again, focus everything on her. You have to, at that point, manage things a little better because you don't have the advantage from being in hiding anymore. So you have to land a daze or something like that to lower her armor class by 2 to make it easier to hit her. What I also would have done is I would have dropped Cloud of Daggers on top of her and then immediately turned it off, just because that is a high damaging spell for that, and gone after things that way. I wouldn't have had enough damage riders with Magic Missile to cause a whole lot of damage to her, because I'm using the Rain Dancer. I don't have the Spell Sparker on right now. But I'm pretty sure that we would have been able to get out of it in the second round if we hadn't gotten out of it here. I just got lucky with a high roll on my attack, which made it nice. So, like I say, I just got really lucky with the critical there, and that turned everything my way. So I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. It's about time something went well in the honor mode playthrough, right? So now we're gonna kind of get Gale out of the way a little bit. Zerga is gonna go one of 2 ways, and the only one I'm really worried about is if he comes up here behind Astarion. That's a long distance for a shove, so I don't think it would work even there. But that's the only real worry I have about this upcoming round. And I'm not going to go anywhere near him. I could, to go up and get a vampire bite or something like that, but again, I don't want to be anywhere near him, because he will try and shove you into a chasm. Oh no. Okay. Oh, I saw my honor mode playthrough flash before my eyes. Jeez. Oh, that was scary. Yeah, he, for whatever reason, and there was nothing special, he just walked up and decided to not ever move again. But yeah, he appears to be bugged. So we are going to take that, you know, as what it is. I'm gonna try and move up here and lower his, since he's not moving. Okay, a critical miss. Okay, so that's good. Now with Astarion, I don't care about non-lethal attacks anymore. We're gonna hide. Okay. I'm gonna get Hunter's Mark activated here. Low percentage chance to hit, but I did. Alright, so that went really, really well, and I left the bridge intact. Since I had brought everybody over here, you can, because you're not in a red bordered area, you can fast travel out of here. So you can, I could have attacked the bridge, but with Rozak being dead and Minthara being knocked out, I didn't think it was really necessary to do it. So now, doing our searching. So Minthara here, I want to take the spider lyre. I'm going to take her dagger. I'm going to send her supply pack off to camp. I'm going to leave the spider silk armor on her. However, I am going to take the boots of striding from her. Going to take the other mace, and I'm going to take Cyanide. Once per short rest, you can encase a target in fairy fire if you miss an attack against it. So, a decent overall weapon, because that fairy fire allows everybody in your party to have advantage against that target. The rest of it, I'm going to leave on Minthara, because we are going to be seeing Minthara later. Okay. So, the Gilded Chest, one of the comments that M left on the last video was about the proximity of the smoke powder barrel to the Gilded Chest. I've never seen the Gilded Chest blow up from the smoke powder barrel. If you want to, just avoid that and make sure that you're placing the smoke powder barrel a little bit farther back away from the chest, you can. But even so, what is in here are the water sparkers, which aren't really all that great right now anyway, because we don't have a way to avoid the lightning damage from being electrified. Well, an easy way, a non-resource intensive way of avoiding that damage. But the water sparkers is whenever you're standing in water, that water becomes electrified, and it happens immediately when you step into it. So anybody who's standing in that water also becomes or takes electrocution damage, which again is nice. If you start your turn on an electrified surface, you gain 3 lightning charges. Now this can be quite useful because it's a way to gain a lot of lightning charges at once. So if you're utilizing the whole wet mechanic and lightning or cold attacks to damage enemies, this can be a way of getting more lightning charges to cause more damage. However, it's not all that great an item. So if it does end up blowing up and something happens to it, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so now I'm just going to loot the rest of this up here.
Need to find a way forward.
Okay, there's some other items over here. Let's go loot Zerga. And now you can see that the rest of the camp is still non-hostile. Okay, so we still can move around the camp. We can still talk to everybody at this point. Now, Scrut, you can't loot down there. So you can't reach him. So you lose out on Scrut's loot, but it's nothing that you need to worry about.
The dwarf is ready.
And now we are immediately going to go and get ready for this. Okay? And for this, we definitely want to put everybody on the high ground. The high ground here can be a little dangerous because there are a couple of enemies that have smoke powder bombs. So you want to be careful with your placement and then just hope that you don't get hit with one. In my personal playthrough, I actually had Gale way up top. Gale they threw a smoke powder bomb behind him. It knocked him all the way down here into the spider pit, and he didn't die. He went down though. I had to healing word him to get him up. Then the spiders went hostile because he's down there with them. And then I tried to misty step out, but down there you can't see the floor up here. So it made it incredibly difficult to get a vantage point where I could actually see this little tiny area right here to misty step him out, or else the spiders would have just killed him on his next turn. So things can get a little worrisome. I'm not expecting them to, though. Okay, I'm not expecting them to, but this is Dungeons and Dragons. You never really know what's going to happen here.
Salutations. Yes. Such a long way down.
What's cooking?
With Minthara, Ostomer, the key thing is she has to be temporarily hostile.
Hey, good looking.
Historian is still down here. I don't know if she still has the status effect or not. We'll go look real quick. Because it's an important question. I've had a couple of people ask about this. When you attack Minthara, yeah, she just says knocked out. When you attack Minthara, she has to have the condition temporarily hostile. That's different from being hostile. And it's a subtle difference, but one that is incredibly important. If you attack Dror first, everybody in this camp is hostile. There is no temporarily hostile marker for anybody. You can't get it. So it's important when you do this that you're attacking Minthara, one, starting out when she's yellow, and 2, making sure that she is, it says knocked out temporary afterward. The other thing to get her to show up in Act 2 is that until I kill Dror, I cannot take a long rest. Okay? If I take a long rest right now, then she's not going to appear in Act 2, and I am not going to be able to knock her out temporarily again. Okay, so once you start all of this, you can't stop it. Once she's knocked out, you are... Okay, hold on everybody.